You may recall that before the Second Vatican Council, priests said or celebrated Mass individually, rather than having a group of them coming together in concelebration. It was only after the council that concelebrated Masses were possible. And so when the 4,000 plus bishops came to Rome, they all had to find places around Rome to celebrate the Mass every day. And it was becoming very difficult. They tell the story of an American bishop going to a Monsignor in the Vatican asking whether or not it was possible for him to say Mass in his bedroom. "Oh no," the Monsignor said with a scoff in his voice, "it's impossible. You cannot say the Holy Mass in your bedroom." And then with a twinkle in his eye and a smile on his face, he said, "But you can sleep in your chapel." His point was, of course, it depends on how you ask the question and what you consider that room to be, your bedroom or your chapel. Today, we have individuals asking the wrong questions. The man who runs up to Jesus very eagerly, wanting to be saved, wanting to get into heaven. What must I do? And then, of course, he is somewhat prideful because he says that he has kept all of the commandments. And by the way, he's also somebody who has been blessed by God with wealth. And so he kind of thinks that's enough. And Jesus says, no, there's more. Same too with the disciples. When they hear how difficult it is for people to get into heaven, they say, who can be saved? Jesus tells us that in fact, for us on our own, in a self-sufficient way, salvation is impossible. That's because we are all beggars. St. Teresa, the little flower, said as she was dying, "I go to God with empty hands." We are all beggars. She knew that. And so it's important for us to keep in mind that even the good we do, the keeping of the commandments, is something we do by God's grace, lest we begin to think that we're entitled to heaven or that we earn heaven and salvation. It is always a gift. And Jesus helps us today to keep that in focus in our lives, in our spiritual lives. The first thing is that we should become detached from the things of this world, whatever our wealth will be. Maybe it's the wealth of time or the certain possessions we have, or maybe even a self-image. We should be able to let go of that. Maybe to spend time in prayer that's so precious to us, or give time to someone who's in need, or take some of our wealth, some of our possessions, and give them away, so that we practice detachment from the things of this world to the point where nothing in this world is going to save us. But then secondly, we're asked to follow the Lord, to trust him. When we follow him, that means that we really give ourselves over to the direction that he is guiding us in. I think of that scene so often we see in the streets around schools where preschoolers are tied together with ropes and a teacher is bringing them together. They don't know where they're going, but they feel secure because they trust the person who's leading them and they're walking together. That's an image for us to contemplate of how we are to follow the Lord. We don't know exactly where he's taking us all the time, but he is moving us from where we are, and we trust in him because we're tethered to him. That is the kind of following that the Lord asked of us. And so each of us today, as we hear this gospel, must come to a realization that salvation is impossible on our own. But all things are possible with God. And that, of course, means making sure that we allow space in our lives for God's grace to help us be detached from the things of this world, but also give us confidence to be tethered to a God in whom all things are possible.
Please click on the Archdiocese of Chicago shield to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you'll find hundreds of Catholic videos. And for more great Catholic content, connect with us on social media.